now let's go to the next person on the phone this afternoon. Welcome to our Sunday question and answer program. Please go ahead with your call.
Hi, Chris. I was looking up Revelation 6 to ask you a question about that, and I still want to ask a question, but could you read also?
I'm sorry. Which verse was that?
No, I was looking up Revelation 6, 9 through 11 because that was mentioned during the study, but I found a couple of verses. If you could read first, and then I'll ask my question about Revelation 6.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 32:43 and Psalm 55 verse 9.
Deuteronomy 32:43 says, I'm going to back up a little bit to verse 41. For if I whet my glittering sword, and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and will reward them that hate me. I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. And then, Psalm 55, verse 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Psalm 55, 9 says, Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city.
Actually, I'm sorry, I gave it the wrong verse. Psalm 94, verse 13.
Psalm 9, well, I'm glad that wasn't the right verse because I didn't know what to say about that. Psalm 94:13 says, I'll start in verse 12. Blessed is the man whom thou chastenest, O Jehovah, and teachest him out of thy law, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity, until the pit be digged for the wicked.
Yeah, I just thought that kind of added to what we're talking about during the study. But I wanted to ask about Revelation 6, verse 9 through 11. It seems to be that's talking about the 144,000, right? Is that a fair statement?
Well, yeah, they would probably primarily be in view because it speaks of their fellow servants who should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled. And it also tells them the rest for a little season. So that would be the Great Tribulation. And during the Great Tribulation, the fellow servants, there was a great multitude saved, would be killed as they were, and so yes, this would be the elect who were saved during the churches that are crying out, how long, O Lord, holy and true, till you judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth.
So I know you mentioned that it's talking about, during the study you mentioned it was talking about physical killing and spiritual killing. Is verse 9, is that specifically physically killed people because of the souls of them, or can we look at that spiritually as spiritually killed too?
Well, yeah, the souls of them just means that they're in heaven without their bodies, and so it would indicate anyone, any of the righteous, any of God's elect, who were killed physically, and many Christians were when we look back at church history, and often they were killed by the church, or it was state sponsored due to church influence, where they were burned at the stake and died for the sake of the word in one way or another. But also there have been false churches. Revelation 2 and 3 tells us of the synagogue of Satan, and we know there were tares amongst the wheat, and so churches fell away, and in falling away they would have brought false gospels. False gospels spiritually kill, and I don't think God is focused on physical blood completely. It would be anyone who spiritually or physically was killed by Babylon, by the kingdom of Satan, in however the kingdom of Satan reached out and was involved as Satan entered into the churches. Many were killed that way, but God holds the kingdom of Satan responsible for all the blood of the righteous shed from Abel through Zacharias, or throughout all history. And this verse would tie in that the Lord will take vengeance upon his elect. But thank you. Yes?
So, I'm sorry, is that occurring, verse 9 is occurring in 1988, beginning in 1988 through the Great Tribulation, right?
Well, I don't know if we would say it's a beginning to occur then. Verse 9 again, when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood? So this is even before God's judgment would have began. If God was already judging the church in 1988, then they would not be crying out so much, because the church came under the power of Babylon, and it was under attack, just as Judah historically was under attack by the Babylonians and the king of Babylon. And once the king of Babylon overtook Jerusalem and Judah, it became a province of the kingdom of Babylon. But I don't know. I don't know if we get that detailed from this account. We just very clearly see there is there is a recollection, a remembrance of the bloodshed, and there's a call for vengeance. And Judgment Day is that time of vengeance. But thank you.